I don't think even you or I, 2 or 3 years ago, would have imagined we'd be seeing scenes like this in small English villages.
No, well, I think that if the numbers were inevitably going to grow in the way that they have, frankly, there was no alternative but to start putting them in places and hotels around the country. It's the government that didn't think of this as one of the consequences of their inaction and their inability to actually control the boats. And I think that this labelling of those who are genuinely concerned as right-wing, as fascist, as racist, as this, that and the other, is so hurtful to those people who have genuine concerns about their communities. You know better than anyone, Nigel, that when in 2016, when people voted, one of the reasons that they voted in the way that they did was because they were being ignored. They were being told they didn't know what they were talking about, they didn't understand, and everything that was going on was in their interests. Well, I'm afraid if the government actually is foolish enough to go along that line again, there'll be a big, big price to pay.
Yes, and of course what they're doing, this government, is they're over-promising and under-delivering. You know, we're hearing these big words from Rishi Sunak, you know, newspaper article yesterday, there'll be a lot of press tomorrow, but actually we keep hearing, don't we, from successive Home Secretaries and Prime Ministers, we're going to stop the boats, we're going to put an end to this. Well, why should this be different this time?
Why should it be different indeed? I think that what they're going to tackle is actually necessary, and they do need to tackle some of the areas. Priti Patel, she made a lot of promises. Boris Johnson made a lot of promises. Exactly what Rishi Sunak has said, that if you arrive here as an illegal, if you arrive here illegally, you will be treated as such and you will be sent back. Well, Boris didn't keep his word. I hope that Rishi does. I have a feeling that he does mean it, and he is giving Suella Braverman the support that she needs. Whether in the end the legislation that makes its way through Parliament is going to be mauled, frankly, it's going to be mauled not only in the Commons, but in the Lords as well, and particularly in the Lords. If what ends up is really pretty much the same as the legislation that we saw going through last year, then frankly, it will be time wasted. I hope that this time, and I am hopeful, that the legislation that makes it onto the statute books is actually going to have some sort of effect. What it won't do is have any effect this year. It'll be by the end of the year, at the present rate, we're going to reach something like 90,000 and more people coming across illegally. Where are they going to put them? There's only hotels, and there's going to be more communities that react to that and are concerned about that.
Alp, you don't really believe this can work, do you? Because basically we're still part of the ECHR. The Prime Minister's made it clear we're going to stay part of the ECHR. And British judges are always going to rule in favour of our international obligations.
Yeah, they probably are, Nigel. It isn't just the ECHR, though. There are a lot of rules, a lot of discretionary decisions taken that have nothing to do with the legislation or our commitment to international treaties. It really depends whether the government, having got the legislation through that is now being proposed, then they actually implement and act on it. It won't solve the problem completely, but it will have an effect.